not morning. Good afternoon, guys. Thank you so much for joining in another episode of the GABFEST.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Clayton, we also want that.
Yeah, we also want sound effects. But I also want to sound cool out here.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Today we are speaking about something interesting, but like we explained last week, Jess is not here every single week, so we will be having special guests coming in every week. And this week, I'm coming to introduce our guest first, okay?
Yeah, I'll be at the bottom of the food chain this week. That's good.
So this week we have the oh so beautiful Cleo.
Hi guys,
Thank
you for having me.
Thank you for saying
This
yes.
is so nice, congratulations.
Thank you.
Happy to be here.
Happy.
We're excited to have you here.
Thank you.
Yes. I'm very excited. I haven't seen you in how long?
It's been like a year. Over a year.
Over a year.
Yeah.
COVID problems.
Yeah, I know.
And then obviously
The standard
co-host
furniture.
Anka Hendricks.
I'm the standard
I
furniture.
was waiting for you to make an excuse saying happy's birthday.
I was contemplating, I'm not going to lie, because I'm really trying to wing this thing. And I thought, okay, maybe I should buy some time, hubby's birthday, I'm winging it, but don't tell him. Because it needs to be special. But I'm here. I am committed, guys. I'm furniture. I'm kind of like that. You know those little dogs that's in
The pink dogs
The
Lee
pink
always
dog,
speaking
yeah.
about.
that's in your grandma's house. I'm that little dog in this
So
in
is
the
he
studio.
watching?
No. Mm-mm.
And it's so close to Valentine's Day.
Yeah, no. You know what he did to
Yeah.
Valentine? He completely eviscerated Valentine's Day in our house. Like it's erased. It's non-existent. He says that every other day is a special day. So
But does Valentine's Day count if you're married?
it
Does.
should.
Does
It
it?
should.
Count more because I'm washing dishes. I'm doing all these things.
Look, my thing is this, right? I was telling him the other day that I've always loved Valentine's Day, and when I married him, he was like, "Nee, that's net 'n geldmark ding." I'm like, really? Even if it is, because I would be okay with it if every other day you did bring roses or you did bring chocolates, like a
Yeah.
red. But it doesn't happen. So it's just birthdays. So what I'm saying is, at least use the one day, even though everyone's doing it. Join in. I mean, if you can't beat them, I like
But
chocolates and
I
roses.
don't want the whole red things.
Yeah, no,
But
I want
do
the, like,
want
the hot-
something. Buy
yeah.
me a top or a jeans or something. Not
Do something special, yeah.
the roses.
But actually, my boyfriend told me, saw a tweet that said, by a guy obviously, that said it's not Women's Day. So we should also be doing something.
I don't mind. I agree with that, though. I do.
It is.
I saw a meme and I thought it was so funny, but it was written in Afrikaans and it said, so a girl wrote it. So guys, so what time are you guys looking for an argument on the 13th, or is it starting over the weekend?
Men's conference argument, not buying a gift, single tomorrow. But yeah, so if you are, obviously you are watching if you're here. Cleo is also one of my favorite makeup artists in South Africa. If there's one thing about you, I must say, there is good makeup artists, but you're like one of the, I always say, yeah, I'm inspired by a lot of people, but I don't like it when you don't look like you
Yeah.
after makeup.
That's
And
what I
that's one thing I
thought.
learned from you, because remember when we just met was when you were giving me bridal and those kind of things,
yeah.
advice and stuff. And that's one thing I really like about your makeup. You still look like Evangelique, but everything is just
That's
amplified.
really my goal, eh? But I know that, especially with like Instagram now, there's a lot of ladies that want to look like
the celebrity or the over contour.
Barbie doll vibes. And
if
if
you
somebody
look at your
comes to me for that,
pictures
I always
after
feel
that-
like I underperform, because it's like, that's not really
It's not your go-to,
my style,
your
yeah.
speciality.
But the problem that I have with that is like 10 years down the line, because a lot of that stuff is like fashion and what it was the hype now, and 10 years down the line, it's not the hype.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you look like, but is that really you?
Like when I got
Catfish.
married,
Catfish.
the eyebrow wasn't the box brow.
No,
It was
at
just
least
a
you
normal,
dodged it.
natural,
Yeah.
finish
Yeah,
brow. But what I'm saying is when people get married, they don't realize that makeup is also trending fashion. So now they
need to think
come
long term.
and it's a bridal makeup and they want the fluff brow
Yes.
that's
soap
in
brow.
the soap brow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, my guy, do you know what you're going to look like 3 years from now? People is going to look at your thing and say, Mommy,
going
what
on
were you
here?"
thinking?
And then they'll say it was the makeup artist.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, they will say it's a makeup artist, and I think that's why it's so important to stay true to who you are and your brand, and because a lot of the times when you go into a designer's office or something, and they'll say you can't bring me a design from someone else. I'm a designer myself, and this is insulting, quite frankly. And I think that's the same because you're an artist, so you need to do your feels. There is some compromise between you and the client,
Yeah.
but overall it should be your product, what you stand
Yeah, you
for,
must be
what your-
proud of what's coming out of
Yeah.
it. But yeah, so today's cocktail is much better than last week's. Last week's was a disaster, guys. We had the pina colada.
Yeah, but we were quiet about it. You should have just left it there.
Well, if you watch it, you notice that the things is full all the way. This week we have the mojitos.
This looks interesting,
It
actually.
is, and luckily Cleo came early, so she's used that brand before.
Oh, this is nice, actually. Guys, no,
that's
this one I'll finish today. Last week's one I shamed.
Oh, last week's one was great. Do you know what? Last week I did not know that pina colada or whatever needs liqueur or whatever, and I mixed it with normal, like a liquid something, and then it just looked like old milk
Oh, no.
floating around in the drink.
Yeah, it had a bit of a jelly kind of vibe because it was trying to. I guess if you blend it beforehand, it might do something different. But we live and we learn.
So it was just a prop.
Yeah. So this week we just bought what's the name of that brand? Lagoon.
Yes.
It's Lagoon something cocktails or something. And because it's a mocktail, we literally just mixed it with ice.
Yeah.
It's nice, actually. I like
And
it.
it's good, and added lemon and mint. So if you
Yeah.
want to try it. Okay. So today's topic, right, guys? Have you watched the Tinder Swindler on Netflix?
I watched it.
I'm embarrassed to say yes, I did watch it.
Why are you embarrassed
I'm not
to
even
say you
ashamed.
watch it?
I'm ashamed.
not
I'm ashamed because the whole thing was upsetting and so disturbing for
was.
me. Like, I'm not even like, because like when it first came out, I saw and I thought it was just a movie, and I was like, I'm not gonna watch this because already I'm cringing inside. And then it became a thing on 702. We were listening to 72 and even 94.7, and they
Yeah.
were mentioning this thing, and I was like, okay, it's a hype, maybe, because I do like documentaries, and I was like, okay, let me go watch it. So I downloaded it, and then Vanjie's like, no, you need to watch it, and I was like thinking, I feel guilty for watching this, first of all, because I need to be preparing for something else, and then, so I needed a reason to watch
She's
it.
like, I need an excuse to watch it, thank you.
So she's like, no, you need to watch it. I'm like, okay, good. Now I feel like, okay, I have the right to watch it in my spare time, because I had other things to do,
Yeah.
like prepare for something else, a different event. And then I watched it and I was like, this is the worst hour what of my life, because I was deeply disturbed by the entire
Same
thing.
though.
Yeah.
Your overall, how did you get into watching it?
I was just chilling one day. I think it was like a Saturday, and I just saw it on Netflix. And Netflix does that preview thing where it's like, you haven't decided yet, but I'm going to show you what's going on here.
Yeah.
And then it started playing, so I'm like, you know what, let me watch this. And I was deeply disturbed because I didn't know people could, I don't know if I'm naive, but I didn't know people could be so evil to
Yeah.
do that to,
Yeah.
So
a woman.
I started
Well, to
watching it
people.
based on, I just saw the guy's picture trending everywhere last
Yeah.
week. Everybody was just posting this guy, and I was like, who is this guy? Is he famous? What's the whole
famous
deal?
now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's famous now.
He's a
And
big
I
deal
was like,
now.
why is everybody posting? And then in the Mrs. Universe group, people would ask something, and then they would make comments and end with Simon. And I was like, what the heck is
My
Simon?
enemies are after me.
Yeah. So then I was like, let me check out what this is. And I Googled who is Simon. And then I saw it's a show on Netflix. And then it wasn't number one yet. And then I was like, the Tinder Swindler. I was like, I like to watch those things like documentary that's
Yeah.
crime-based. But here's a love one. And I was like, I wonder what is this? Are they going to speak about catfishing?
Yeah.
That's just like... it wasn't who you thought it was. But this was a whole next level because, Lee, can you just put up the guy's face, please?
But before we go on, right, while Lee's putting that up, I just wanted to say, guys, if you're out there and you want to contribute a comment or something, or how you felt if you've watched it, drop a comment in the comment section. We do have one comment from Lucinda Boyson, best makeup artist ever. Cleo did my makeup.
Oh, it's my sister-in-law.
Nice. Beautifully for my wedding, and I was enhanced version of me. So there's a beautiful comment.
Yeah.
Thank you, sis.
So where's Simon?
So, guys, I first thought, how the heck? But please look at Simon. He is good looking.
He is good looking. I
You
must say,
can't
I
take
was.
that away from
No,
him.
you look scallum though.
For me, he didn't.
Don't you think?
I was caught up by it. I'm not gonna lie. I was caught up by it, and then when I saw that, I'm like, okay, I can see why he got into it. How
Yeah.
the ladies,
His
got
tactic
it.
was really good, I must say.
I must
His
say.
tactic is brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lee, are you in? Do you have a mic there?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. So I asked Lee, right? She's never watched the Tinder Swindler, right? So I wanted to ask her, what do you think when you see this guy? If you must see him on Tinder and you swipe right, don't you think he's good looking? Like, you wouldn't think anything?
Yeah, so I would say that he is good looking. But I agree with Chloe. He does look scallop.
How does he look scallop, guys?
I think because you guys know the backstory.
Does he look like a Forex guy?
So what I'll say is like this picture down here. He looks like a cheese boy. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Those ones though, it's got appeal. Some of the photos have appeal, and I think it's got to do with the whole setup. Like, I won't say that I'll swipe right on him. It's not if I see him in the street. Okay, fine. I mean, if I have to look at my husband, he's chocolatey colored compared to this.
Chocolate colored caramel.
Compared to this. So I can see what it was. It was appeal. He had appeal in his photos, and the way he spoke, he had charm in the beginning.
But if he wasn't posing on jets and things,
Yeah. I'm sorry, he wouldn't
Do
have.
you think
No.
what he's wearing
Yes.
and the background is making him good looking?
It
I think a lot of women strive towards that. They want to be looked after.
Okay, so if he was like, he didn't have that mustache, because we know a guy's beard and his mustache
his
is our makeup.
makeup.
So if you take that off, he might not look like that. Do you think if he didn't have that whole vibe and he was still standing in front of those things, would he still be attractive? Or if he did
So-
look like this, but he was like taking a picture in McDonald's?
So here's the thing, right? The quote is, now remember, this is portraying a really rich man, right? So there is no such thing as an ugly billionaire. I'm just saying there's a quote. There's no such thing. And I think the ladies on Tinder could attest to that. I mean, how many did he not get like
Yeah.
that? So yeah, you're not ugly, you just broke. That means
Perfect meme. You're not ugly, you broke. Do you think if he was sitting in McDonald's, if his selfies was in McDonald's in a Mr. Price top, sorry, I don't know what else to use, that normal H&M t-shirt, would he
don't
get the
know.
same traction? Do you think he would have been good looking?
maybe to some he would have been. But I just feel like, okay, I've never done online dating personally,
Yeah.
so I don't know what it's like and what people are looking for out there. For me personally, it would be more about what he is saying about himself and
Yeah.
the way his bio is written,
Okay.
those kinds of things.
So if you've not watched the Tinder Swindler, this is going to be like a... you're
teaser.
telling me everything.
Okay.
No, not a teaser.
Teaser.
You're going to be like, okay, let me go watch just to see it for
Yeah.
myself.
Spoiler.
No
But
spoilers.
spoiler alert. So we're going to speak about everything. But if you have your 10 cents on the matter, if you don't agree with us or you want to ask us what we think about something, you can put it in the comments. But this is a spoiler alert, okay? So it starts off with Cecilia,
yeah.
right?
Oh,
Telling this whole story about how, yes,
No, go ahead.
how she met this guy on Tinder. And obviously, she does not deny that because he's posing on a jet.
Yes.
He's posing with, is it a Rolls Royce or a Bentley?
It was the Rolls Royce, but the way she told it, I must say that's what captured me. It's like she was telling this romantic,
She was
intense
really
Because
looking
love
for
story.
love.
Yeah.
She was talking about Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
And
I
how
was
you
like-
look that
And you know, as girls, we that captures that love. As it did capture me, I was like, oh, okay. So there was an element of love there
yeah.
somewhere. I mean, she couldn't be. The
No,
way
but
she
she's
spoke,
naughty.
but you could see that she was still in love.
She's naughty.
because
Okay, but you can say now why she's naughty.
Yeah, you can say, but in the beginning phase when she was telling that story, you could see that this woman, and arguably still genuinely, because after the fact to still tell it in such a way, because the last lady didn't have the same.
No,
way
she's
of
angry
telling-
now. If you watch her interviews now, she is livid.
Livid, yeah.
So,
but
But
she
I'm
had
just
the best
saying.
revenge, so.
yeah. So Cecilia starts off by telling us she met Simon at the time, because he's on Tinder, it's Simon. But his name before Simon, his real name is Shimon.
Yeah.
Okay. But so she meets him on Tinder and swipes right, and it's a match. He also swiped right on her, right? And he sends a message because he sees she stays in London, and automatically it sends a message saying, I'm leaving London tomorrow. Do you want to meet up? So she goes and she meets up with him that same day at a restaurant, which is at an hotel, but it's this
Like super fancy.
super bougie vibes. Not even bougie, because that's next level bougie. It's bougier than bougie. But it's a fancy restaurant. And he's like, they're speaking and they're getting into deep topics, right? And she's like, wow, this guy's opening up to me on the first date. And he ends
Red flag
off...
number one.
Yes. And he ends off with inviting her, I'm flying out to Amsterdam now. Do you want to come with?
That's just wrong. I'm sorry.
And she
Let's
goes
not
home,
get there.
packs her bags, and goes with.
That's why I
Guys,
said she's
what
not.
do you think? Meeting this guy for the very first time, he's on Tinder. It's not even a friend introduced you. There's no form of connection. Someone I know knows him. And goes to a whole different country with this guy.
I'm sorry. I'm just seeing human trafficking. Like I'm super paranoid.
the
So in my
thing.
mind.
Because I don't know if it's maybe just as South African women, we are so aware of things happening to us and the fact that we always have to be watching our backs. So I don't know if maybe my opinion is a bit biased because of that, but I also just feel like the worst part, okay, fine, YOLO, do your thing, go. But she said, when a friend said to her, like,
Yes,
you
the
can
friend
be
said,
stolen or kidnapped, and she
Yeah.
said, I didn't even think of that.
But then she replies, YOLO.
Yeah.
I think she was captivated by the fact that this guy is in his busy time now. He's now meeting me. He found the time to now meet me, and now he's someone inviting me because he's that busy. Because he now explained. Remember, he's this billionaire,
Yeah, she didn't have time
diamond
to think
mogul.
about it.
So she's thinking, no, this guy's legit. Also, it's at this posh restaurant, and it's private jet. So you're not thinking. Or she rather is not thinking like there's something dodgy going on. The man's good for the money. The man's got bodyguards. He sent his driver, and it's a Rolls Royce. So she's just thinking
It looks legit.
money.
She's thinking money. I'm also thinking, Addie said, I'm driving down. Would she had the same reaction?
Buy your bus ticket. Oh hell no!
But he said private jet.
Yeah.
He has a bodyguard
And a driver.
and a driver, and he picks her up with this Rolls Royce from the house when she goes and packs her clothing.
Look, it's a well-played scam. I mean, he's been doing it, and I mean, they say that it was quite a few that he swindled. So I mean, he did a replay, and as we saw, he did a replay every time. So he knew how he set it up every time. So he knew what to say and when, and it works. It works.
It works.
I
Okay,
can't
so
blame
going
him.
back
Worked
to
for a
her
long time.
in the beginning, talking about the whole fairy tale Beauty and the Beast. Do you think we as women are that desperate for love that what's those things called from the horses?
I know
flaps.
exactly what you're talking about.
Eh?
Yeah.
The blinders from
Yes.
horses. Do you think we're so concentrated on finding love that all those red flags, warning flags, friends telling you they could steal you,
I
goes out the door for the sake of love, just to find someone that
I think
appreciates you, loves you, all those
I
kind
do
of things?
think so.
I think each to their own. I mean, you know my story. Like, I'll be very hypocritical to sit here and say, oh, no, I didn't take a chance because I met my husband online and I flew to a different country as well online. The difference is here, though, that I knew people who knew. There was, like, research. There was
Mutual.
mutual people that knew each other. So there was,
Yeah.
like a line. It wasn't just I'm random. I'm flying to Joburg now. I don't know where I'm going and I don't know the people. But I think each to their own. For me, there were certain things that I first had to check and make sure that is there contact, what will happen when I get there, who knows who, are they trustworthy people in my life, that type of thing. As opposed to just, I wanted love. I didn't come for love, but when I came back, it must have been for love, you know. So, and Viviet, miskin, you guys could have maybe abducted me and sold me. I wouldn't have known that, you know. The second time
So
around.
you say you think we are quite desperate for love. What's your take on that? What do you think?
I just think it's because society puts a lot of pressure on women to do the marriage thing and the kids, and especially before a certain age, because we're on this timeline or the clock is ticking. And I feel like a lot of women always have that in the back of their mind. Not all women.
Yeah, she is also, if you use Cecilia as an example, she is at the age where, 30, you would assume you have a partner that's
Settling down.
down, those kind of things.
So I definitely think that is a contributing factor to a lot of these things that happen. I also met my boyfriend online, Instagram.
On Instagram,
But
she did
we had mutual friends, and on the day we met, he was with his friends. I had a friend with me.
Like, it wasn't we're going to go meet and it's just the two of you.
But you'll be surprised. There's so many brides that I work with that have met their husbands on Tinder. So there is
I was actually
happy stories.
I was actually very shocked to know that, Tinder is actually like really a thing here in SA. I didn't know it was like a thing. I have been under a rock given the fact that I am married, right? So after the Tinder, the whole thing, I wanted to download Tinder just to see like what's this ever. And I'm thinking, my husband will think I'm so dodgy. Leaving on to that.
And then someone say, oh, I saw Anka there on Tinder.
On Tinder. I swiped right. She swiped right. Did she swipe right?
But just to add on to that other topic, I think also that media and also films and who still says films, movies and stuff,
Series.
series.
It says Netflix film.
Okay, so I'm still of age, guys. But what I'm trying to say is that it perpetuates this picture, this fairy tale, and it really I like watching romantic movies, and I think a lot of people get caught up in. I was caught up in that for the long. Ooh, it's a fairy tale, getting married. Let me tell you, it's not a fairy tale. So, and I think that places also that pressure, like that castles in the sky that we as women build.
Yeah. So for me, I do think it does get to a point where you think, could this be? Because with Cecilia, but they fly out to Amsterdam, and that night, obviously, they sleep together. And she says they have this whole pillow talk. And in the pillow talk, he opens up so much about his life.
And
He tells her personal.
Yeah,
he tells her he was imprisoned in South Africa, but it was because somebody tried to do this and that in terms of business. His partner threw him under the bus, and she's laying there like, wow, this guy is opening up to me. It's not every day on the first date the guy opens up, and she's like, he listened to every single thing I said. And I think that was his biggest thing. Because as you listen later on to the thing, he keeps on, he's like checking up constantly. I mean, her husband doesn't even check up the way he checked up. So obviously as a girl, you're like, sure, this guy loves me.
Yeah. I think it speaks to us. Us as women, we are that emotional beings. We want to hear certain things, and we want to know that you're emotionally involved.
Want to nurture.
Yeah, and he did that. I must say, he did that beautifully. Like, even the words he said, he brilliantly, he really, and I think what really put the cherry on the cake was when she said she's going home. And then he says, oh, but I don't have business there. And then...
Oh, and then he pitches up.
He pitches up into in this country, and any woman like,
Well played.
No, that's how Ashley also well played me like that.
Yeah, he did.
I was in Namibia.
Yeah, he did.
And I was moody because Xavier's with his girlfriend, Jesse's with his best friend, and I'm just watching everybody do everything together, and everybody's like, you're so moody, what? And next thing, I'm laying in the caravan. And Ashley is with all his bags. And I was like...
So we arranged it, obviously with Xavier, then we arranged it so that he can come, because we were like, hi, we all need to enjoy this.
So I know that feeling of, you weren't supposed to be here, but I wanted to be with you, and you pitch up kind of thing. So I can imagine why she got to that point of, this guy will do anything for me.
And remember, he painted this picture, he is this businessman, so he's extremely busy. So if he's taking out time in his very busy life, for me, then there must be feelings.
Do you want to say something?
No, I'm just thinking about how it actually is really smart, because it's like he reeled her in
He
slowly.
reels in with emotions, and it's like he knows
Yes.
what part you need. And with her, she needed a connection to feel like the beauty and the beast. I didn't expect to meet you, and here you are, my prince.
So do you think that he was divulging all that information so that she could do the same, and then he kind of figures out how to work around her?
Yep.
But also, when you see her Tinder, like when they show it, she shares a lot of herself. Her whole Tinder pictures, she shares. She goes to the beach constantly. She shared too much. So if I want to swindle you,
I have enough information.
there's
to do
enough
that.
information to know the kind of coffee she likes, the kind of activities she does. She speaks even about the kind of love movies she likes, all those things. And that tells a lot about someone's personality.
I think it also gives you enough time to prepare. I mean, if I'm not naturally inclined to do those things, now I know what to do to get into, us as humans, naturally, when we meet someone, we want to impress. It's first impressions last. So if I've got all this information, then why not? And I don't think we as women, we think rationally in that time, especially if we think that this guy is really hot. If we think, this guy he's the one, and he took his time out of his business and this fancy restaurant, and he's paying. Remember in the beginning, he's just paying. He's just paying. So
That's also clever. It's an investment. So he's spending,
it ain't no investment. He's spending
It's
some
in-
other woman's
Yes,
money.
but he's investing in you so that you believe he has.
So it's good
And then
returns
it
on
comes
his
back.
business.
Exactly. You see Forex.
Yeah.
Right, it says he looks like a Forex guy. So we're going on
He
that.
does though.
What do you guys think about the fact that he went through all the effort of learning the actual diamond people's family history
scary, though.
and photoshopped the one picture with him in the
Oh,
family?
they were at the beach or something.
Yeah. He went that far to Photoshop himself. Remember, people know the business. It is an actual company that is thriving, and he changed his surname to their surname. He legally changed
So
it
smart.
Yes.
after he was in jail for the other
Con.
woman.
Yeah, he conned other woman and was in jail for that. But he didn't just Photoshop himself into one picture. He literally, if you Googled him, that's how it came up. He is this man, the son of this
the-
He was
billionaire.
covering his
But
tracks.
every picture was the same
Yeah.
family picture. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But he legally changed his surname to this rich family. It's like me
Brilliant con, I
going,
must give it to
what
him.
the Gupta, me changing my name to Evangeline Gupta, for example,
Yeah.
and photoshopping my face into the biggest picture that's trending of the Guptas, and you Google the Guptas, you're gonna be like, yo, they have money. So do you think he covered his tracks well in terms of the fact of,
He
listen
really did a
here,
good job.
he
I
is
think
an
he did a
actual
good
diamond.
job.
I mean, he's walking around with a bodyguard.
And those pictures that he sent to
The picture
everyone.
he sends to every single girl about the bash in the head.
That probably happened sometime at some party like years back, and he just saved it, and then just every time that's the go-to. Like, I'll just forward this one real quick. But I think he did very well. He really played his con. Like, he perfected it over time. I think he had enough time to say, okay, fine, we'll place this here, the timing, we'll place that there.
Do you know what I found interesting? As the thing goes on, you actually meet his real girlfriend. What was her name? Alyssa? No.
I can't remember.
You can't say it's his real girlfriend. He conned it
No,
to-
but I mean in terms of his longest relationship, and she
His
thought
longest
this is
con.
my relationship kind of a thing.
Yeah, it was like almost a
I
year.
found it so funny that it was more than a year.
it was a year and 4 months.
I found it quite funny that he sent her. So he did this to he did this to Cecilia, and he's like, "Hey baby, I love you. Can't wait to see you." And so that girlfriend, Eileen. And Eileen has the exact same outfit, same everything. Hey Eileen, I miss you. I love you.
Probably has a
sent-
list, and then he just records.
He just recorded the exact same thing, like he had a script, and
Yeah.
changed the name Cecilia to Eileen. Do you not think that is the creepiest thing ever?
I mean, the guy wasn't in it for love. Let's get that straight. This was his business, right? The guy was just, he had
Strategy.
templates.
And he was living nice.
Lee, you
with
can
other
jump in
people's money.
anytime, eh?
like he was just, you know, trying to live his business model. That's what he said. This is his strategy. He'd already created templates, and it worked so well. You know, it really worked.
Templates. Canva.
Like he created his own little Canva going, because everyone said exactly the same thing, that he sent exactly, only the names were changed, and even to the point where you know, he was just so in danger, like send the money, you know.
Yeah, everybody knows he is now being chased. He is now, people is tracking his bank account and everything. So those that haven't watched and isn't interested in going to watch, but we are spoiling it for you.
Yeah.
So what happens when things turn, right? He gets you in, he reels you in, and everybody thinks, oh, this is this rich guy.
In a very nice way, though.
And every time he goes out, he can take me and all my friends, but he pays for the bill. He settles it.
And it's not cheap bills.
It's
I mean,
not cheap
he was
bills.
doing hotels of $5,000 a night.
A night.
A night.
And you're not alone.
For those of you who don't know, you're creeping up to 60,000 rand a night, if not more.
So then what happens is, he then gets to a point where he's traveling and he sends this scary message to the girl. And he's like, oh my word, I'm being followed right now. There's a security breach. They just did this.
I can't use my own cards.
I can't use
because
my
they're tracking
name.
me. Yeah.
Exactly. All those kind of things. And it gets to the point where he then says, I'm not allowed to use it. Can I use your card?
And by this time, you're already in love.
And this time, because by this time, keep in mind, before
I
he
ain't that in
asks-
love.
before he asks for the card, he starts speaking marriage and kids.
Oh,
So it was the same trend with everybody. I'm going to marry you. You are my wife.
and included in there, go look for an apartment so long.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
And tells, go look for a place so that we can start living together.
There's my problem. You see, when we say get married first, do things right, ne? We're old school, right? But they were enticed with this moving in together, getting this $15,000 a month apartment and whatnot.
She thought he's going to pay for it.
I know she did, but then he started coming up with stories. Can you put the down payment down so long? So and at first when I watched it, I thought, okay, fine, this guy's running a cool con where he's making her pay for the apartment, and he'll come, you know, whenever he's in town, he'll come sleep there or whatever. And then afterwards I realized, no, that's just to get her into getting, like, making her comfortable so that she then can give him the money at the end of the day, because we must now building a life together. I don't know. Do it right, guys.
But
Don't move in yet.
then Cecilia goes to say that she opened 9 loans under her name.
And she lied.
And she lied every time about, because then they would pick up and the bank says, it says you now in this country and you in that country. What's happening? And then she'd phone Simon quickly and say, where are you? At which restaurant did you use the card? Kind of a thing. And then lie to the bank about it. Do you think she should have gone that far? Maybe just, okay, she wasn't supposed to go far at all.
But I mean, even after the first or second or third.
Yeah, you went 9 times.
Yeah.
Well, women have done much worse, I'm just saying, for the man that they were really, really, really in love with. I mean, they really have lost all sense of logic and thought. So I think I do
But here's
have
my
empathy
thing.
for her, but
They were only together for 5 months. No,
no,
by a month.
A
They were-
month.
yeah, I was about to say they
I
were
was
only
like-
together for a
like-
month, and she opened. I mean, in South Africa, man, you try to get a loan for a house,
That's what we were saying.
and you can't even get a loan for a house.
First
How
of
do you
all,
open 9 loans?
that's what I when me and Xavier were speaking about it, that's what I was saying, that this woman opened an American Express. She's in London from Norway, and she opened an American Express card online, and she was able to qualify for a $10,000 credit card, right? And then the different loans from different banks. I'm thinking, I'm just trying to open up a small loan here, then the whole country knows what I bought last week. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I can
Yeah.
go to Edgar's. It's like, okay, fine, they declined me. Maybe I can go to Sports Scene. They all know my business. Like, I can't just get, Like, whether it be a credit card, whether it just be an extra loan, or even just a bank account. How is it possible that this international bank, like a first world bank, just recklessly lends like that? And she's
But I
able
have a
to.
question.
Yeah.
Yes, boss.
The woman that he targeted, because I obviously have not watched it yet, were
Yeah.
they all like wealthy, or to some degree like
Oh, he scouted them out
financially?
nicely.
So see, this is the thing. I was watching an interview the other day as well. Well, yesterday actually, because it was a new one on morning something. I can't remember the word. And they said they are to an extent wealthy enough to travel. They're wealthy enough to travel, wealthy enough to be doing their own thing, living in their own place, that kind of thing. Wealthy enough to go for lunch with friends, live comfortably. But not really wealthy in terms of I can just throw money. Because what happened with Cecilia, afterwards, he made a fake pay
Yeah.
slip for her so
That I
that
have
she
to give
can
him
take
props
out
with.
more loans. So they're not that wealthy to say I can just use money. Based on what you're saying, a lot of internet trolls is saying they gold diggers,
Yeah.
so they deserve it.
I couldn't understand
No,
that
that's
though.
mean though.
It is mean because if they were getting money, it was something different.
And didn't the second girl use her savings?
She
Yes,
used all her
she
savings.
used all her savings.
and gave it to
The
him.
second girl was different in the sense that she wasn't enthralled with the fact that she liked him or loved him rather. She wasn't infatuated with him as a person, but she liked him as a friend.
But that goes back to the love thing I was asking. As women also, are we that desperate to have a friend if you're lonely? And then that's the precautions because
I don't.
Can I say, from a single perspective, right? And I've had my stint on a dating app for 2 weeks, for example, last year. And so the desperation, yes, you can call it desperation for lack of a better term. But what I think this speaks to, based on what I hear from what you ladies are saying, and obviously I have not watched it yet, but this guy obviously understood the emotional makeup of a woman. And a lot of the times people, they like to say that no, men and women are the same and it would have happened to a man as well. But in most of these stories, it's happening to women. So it also speaks to something else, that social media has made us quite inauthentic, because now you're trying to, my cousin always says, play big in little Chinatown. So now you want to show people that you've got money. These ladies do not have money, but they're willing to keep up in order for that status, because somewhere, look, I agree with you, it's bad for people to say that they're gold diggers, but you for them,
Yeah.
I feel like it was also
so
an
this is what
investment.
they say when they say it. They like how can people call us gold diggers if we the ones giving the money?
I agree with that statement though.
But did they not
But there was a
enjoy
guarantee.
the jets and the stuff in the
No,
beginning?
It
like
was
once or
one
twice.
jet twice.
Like one
Remember?
jet and one takeout.
They went out once to another country.
But also he was sending them, making it seem like he's paying them back.
Yeah,
But the
but it
payments
was
weren't actually going through.
fake
Yeah.
checks.
Like no, like proof of payments. Like it was Photoshop.
And it was like double or triple the amount that they
Yeah, so
actually...
if they give a 10 rand, he sends back a 300 rand.
But can you see, for me, it just goes to... it's like they were hoping to also get the
Live
pie
that
of
life,
the fake
yeah.
high life.
Ma-
That's what I'm saying. So the motivation, you have to question their motivation as well.
Look, there's always, no matter how thin you slice it, there's always two sides to the story. I always say that. But here's the thing. As a woman, you want to be settled, yes. You want to be settled when you get married. You don't want to struggle. No woman wants to struggle. But these women were independent women. They were well traveled. So I think they were maybe looking for someone that was richer than them or in their class, but I think he played them very well in the sense that he did speak to the emotional side of who they were. And really, if someone is paying for something the whole time, not the whole time, but say we three times and the bill is like 5,000 rand or whatever, and they pay for it, and now they're in trouble, I think I might consider it to say, okay, fine, they are good for the money. My red flags will go up, because if this guy is trying to date me, and he's this big billionaire who's so well connected, how doesn't he have other people sorting this out for him? How is he asking me at the bottom of the food
Someone he
chain?
just met.
Yeah, like that was the first red flag for me. Like, this man should be well connected, and I understand that, you know, he can't use his credit cards, but he has a bodyguard who has contact
He
with the
has a
outside
dad
world.
that supposedly owns this whole
Yeah, but he's asking
diamond.
he's asking me for a credit card. That my red flags went up immediately because
But I also think it was his approach when he was asking for the money, because he was very aggressive. Well, first he would ask nicely, and when there was like hesitancy or they were taking a bit long, then he would get aggressive. And maybe he kind of scared them into,
Yeah, because he starts swearing at them.
yeah.
it's like,
But on
my colored self will tell you other things.
But the other thing also is you're making a valid point in terms of how he gets. And here, this is a guy that has a bodyguard. And you saw how he was attacked, and he plays on the, if it had not been for, what's his name again? Peter or
How
something.
do you remember all these names?
If it had not been for him, I would have been dead. So he plays the whole, this happened to him because he was protecting me. And then he starts with the, if they don't send, he starts with the, if you don't help me and you turn on me, I will show you, and it will be something much worse than losing money.
Yes, like that girl even said he knew where her mother lived. And he, I don't
Yeah,
know if
so
he
the
threatened her.
intimidation. Yeah.
Yeah, he said, I know where your mother lives, I know where you live, and if you want your family to be safe and all those things. So it does get to a point where you're like, but then, guys, nine loans. Do you not realize by the third loan, I'm getting myself into a whole lot of shibidip?
I was waiting for
I've
that.
come this far.
Hey?
Maybe she was thinking, I've come this far. Let me just
Take it further.
carry on.
Look, if you're spending $20,000 in a matter of 3 days, I would be alarmed. And remember, this is on my account.
That's the other thing.
I would.
It's really nice.
It is very nice. I would be really alarmed. I'd be like, yo, what's going on now? Because as much as I have the hopes of him paying it back, I'm still thinking in the back of my mind, yo, this is on my name. If he decides to run tomorrow, which evidently he did, then I'm still going to do this. But 9 loans, like, Daglangs was a drug addict who really wants this person to come back to her in her space or whatever. But how are you that? For me personally, I wouldn't have been that far gone. The first ask, it's like, no, I don't qualify. I don't know. Hoe gaan jy nou maak?
So I also want to speak about something yesterday when we were like roughly speaking, everybody's speaking about the series. So yesterday I was in conversation with someone, Lorraine, and we were speaking about it, and she said, this is just another thing that proves that it has nothing to do with age in how desperate we are for love. Because many a times there's this, if you're 50, you've never been with someone and now you're desperate and you just choose anyone and do whatever. These girls were in their late 20s, early 30s, doing all these things where you say you're supposed to be living your life, right? So then going with that, the next comment from Tracy Camp says, it's sad that some women feel the need to give so much of themselves and money to have friendship. We need to come back to basics about teaching girls to value themselves from a young age. And that's exactly what we were speaking about. She was saying that we need to get to a point where self-love is so driven from a young age that you know what you deserve.
Yeah.
And you know when you're being taken advantage of, you know all those certain kind of things. So what would you guys say about that?
About the comment?
In terms of the comment and the whole self-love, if she had appreciated herself more, would it have been a difference in terms of falling for his schemes?
I agree with that. I think it's also to do with teaching our girls a bit more about independence. Because I know our generation, more or less, like a lot of girls were told, you must find a rich husband, or find a man that's going to take care of you. And now the narrative is changing where we're saying, like, we can take care of ourselves. We don't need to...
We don't need to
find a man
Be
that can do
dependent on
these
a
things
man.
for us. Yes. So I think it's more just to keep along those lines, not to plant negative things in their
That you
minds
don't
about
need a
men.
man now.
Yes, because then you
Because now
push
you get
everyone
the extra
away.
ones.
Yeah.
So I think it is something that can change with us.
I have a question though. Is it the element of love or is it the element of being romanced? Is it the romance element that
But remember,
we're
if you're
looking for?
romanced enough, as a woman, we're based on emotions. So that romance, it depends on your love language. If my love language is gifts and you buying me gifts constantly, I'm like, oh, this is the man of my dreams. He's doing everything for me. If your love language is holding hands and every time we're together, you're leaning on me, you're like, baby, put your arm here, those kind of things. It ends up turning into love because now you're working on all my what I want.
Pressing on my buttons.
Yeah. So
The reason why I asked that question is because me and Xavier is very different, right? So my love language is actual touch. He's not. It's affirmation. So I must give him affirmation so that he can feel loved. And it's a very painful process for him because he must to hug the whole time. I'm like, I'm gonna just lay here and just hold you. And he's like, are you done now?
Yeah.
So for me, that's why I'm asking that question, because I love my husband very much. Does he always speak to my love languages? No. So then I ask the question, is it romance or is it love? Because he can romance me at times, but that's not always
but
there.
remember, you married for 8 years, right?
So imagine how rough it
No,
was in the
but-
beginning.
But listen to what I'm trying to say. If I have a month to romance you, to turn it to love, and we don't live together, we don't live in the same
That is
country, we don't. So
Yeah.
every moment we are together, it's only fairy tale moments. There's
That
no
is true.
fighting because I'm only seeing you for 3 hours or I'm only seeing you for 1 day. That's how it is with dating. And then some people date and then when they move in together or get married, they're like, this is a different person. I did not know this is their characteristics. Because when you're dating, you see each other once in a while, and for that 3 hours we're together, I can smile all you want, baby. But
Based on that, do you think what happens to people who get swindled into marriage?
Oh, there's a lot of those.
yeah, where
Because
you
now we're just
pretend.
talking about single people. What about people who are financially abused in marriage?
There are a lot of those. That's marriage counseling and a whole different topic. That's, you need a professional for that one. We'll stick to this one for today.
But yeah, I would also say that there is people that do not just on apps.
Yeah?
Where, because like you say, we dating and you put up a persona, you maybe dress neat every day, every time we see each other, or we're always going out to restaurants. And once you're married, it's a different lifestyle. It's not that I want you to dress like that. It's not that I expect us to go to restaurants every day. But if we were doing during dating, yes, there's more responsibility in marriage, but you got me by doing certain things or saying certain things. That's how we made a connection. And there is some people that in marriage lose the whole dating part and how they connected. And then once you're in the same house together, you may be
There's nothing
just
to
sitting and staring at each other every day because now we're not going mountain climbing. We're not,
Yeah.
you get what I'm trying to
But
say?
I think also when you just start dating someone, sometimes you can see things that are not even there, like you
can
put
see
this
through it.
person on a pedestal.
Yeah.
And I've also read that I think it's the first 2 years of dating someone, that chemical is still very active in your brain. And only after the second, I think it's about 2 years, that starts to fade. And then you actually start to see your partner for who and what they really are. And I mean, most people don't really have that kind of time. Like,
Yeah, some people like 6 months and out.
yeah.
Like, I didn't have that time, though. And what I mean by that is that, we barely saw each other. We met each other a month later. We were engaged, and 9 months later we were married. And during those 9 months, we saw each other maybe 3 weeks at a time. Like, year far and few, we saw each other. And then, I saw the real me in the first year of marriage, and we only dating each other now. We only appreciate each other. So my story was different. So in that sense, I don't understand that dynamic. But going back to to the whole swindling thing and all of that. So a couple of years back, I also watched something on Crime Channel. So you know that I like my Crime Channel. So I watched that, and it was also about a guy that was conning the ladies. However, he ran this con so smoothly for a couple of years. So what he would do though, he would date two ladies at one go, and for 2 or 3 years he'd be with these ladies simultaneously.
Sounds like a lot of admin.
It is like it's a lot of work. And what he'll do is that he'll make a loan here, and then he'll pay here, and pay for dinners here, pay loans here, and then he'll loan. He was apparently some trader, so he'll be trading all night apparently, and then obviously he was just busy watching YouTube videos, and then and then he'd make a loan here with this girlfriend to pay that one. So he was juggling the two and running his cons smoothly the whole time. And then later on, he would just let it die down, like after he's now tired of whoever the girls were or ladies were, and then he'd move on to his next pair. And it took him years, took the cops years to actually realize what this guy is running. If this had just implemented that last section of not doing it so ugly and leaving so ugly, the con would have run much longer
But here's
without
the
him being
thing,
phased.
he has been, it's more than 5 years that he's been running this con. He was in jail already for 2 years because of the con. What killed him was the fact that somebody took it to social media that.
Did it kill him?
No, it didn't.
You
Because
about 5 months.
yeah, but that 5 months wasn't because he conned them. So he still hasn't been charged
For the actual
for
crimes.
what he's been
Oh,
doing.
yes, because he said that
Yeah.
I didn't do anything wrong. They gave me the money.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what's your guys' take on that? Do you really how do you have every card had the girl's name on it?
Yeah, so there was
So
no paper trail.
There's no paper trail,
Yeah.
number one. Number two, all they had was the voice notes and stuff like that. And his argument is, I asked for the money and you gave me the money. I didn't use your name and sign myself. You opened
Wasn't
all
fraud.
the accounts yourself.
And-
So he was in for 5 months just because the last is I forgot, Eileen tipped the police off that he's using a fake name again.
Yeah, he
That
didn't.
was these 5 months.
He didn't get caught for the con. Legally, they can't charge him for the con in any case. But for me personally, what I'm saying is the con would have worked. He became nasty at the end. Because remember, these women were very much in love with him. And even the first one didn't believe for a while, like, he'll do that to me. So if he just sweet talked her for the longest time, look, I'm living undercover. If he just sweet talked it and maybe used when he conned someone else, I'm not trying to give anybody ideas.
Pay off the
Help
loan.
pay. Like even if he did a $5,000 a year, I mean, he's getting in money from other cons and big amounts. And if he lived a little bit more modestly, what I'm saying is that don't go to a $5,000 hotel, go to a $2,000 hotel, take some of that money and just send her the money. It will keep her at bay. He would have ran that con for much longer.
And
than
she was like, I
5,000.
wonder did he have a savings account that every time he got this money, was he putting money away like
That
to
would've
make
been
this
smart.
whole $1 billion account somewhere? So here's my thing, right?
The end proved he didn't.
What is your guys? Someone is saying such a fan of your guest today. Cleo, your art is impeccable. Keep up the great work, ladies. Thanks, guys. So he went to jail, right? And he would have obviously still gone through this. Tinder banned him from Tinder, and a few other dating apps has banned him as well. Instagram is saying they're going to ban his account, but
He even
it's
has a
still
fan
there.
page.
He has
Yeah.
a fan page. So here's my thing that I want to ask, right?
Creep life much?
This guy, we calling the woman gold diggers, right? We know what this man did to everybody. He is now actually famous for this.
Legit.
Did we miss the point of the whole woman speaking out? This is what happened to me. And I found this so interesting. In Cecilia and Brigitte had an interview with, I can't remember the talk show, and they asked, what's your take on the whole thing? And Cecilia said something so interesting, or was it Brigitte? She said, I feel like this is a rape case, where it is, if a girl gets raped, it's her fault. She had on a short skirt. It's her fault. She shouldn't have been
Dynamics
out
of the
alone.
All the victim blaming.
It's her fault. Maybe she led him on. She says she feels like a rape victim because she was doing out of real friendship and real love, and now everything happened. He's famous for what he did, and everybody's saying she's a gold digger. She just wanted his
don't understand the
aeroplane. She's
gold digger
a
part, though.
this. She's a that. Those kind of things. What's your take on that? Do you think we can take it to that extent of saying, comparing it to rape?
I think that's a slippery slope.
It is, but I think some of the dynamics are the same. The elements of her feeling that she's being blamed for something that she didn't do, like the comparisons that you drew now. The actual act, however, is
Because look, this man is a free man right now, right? Number
and they
one,
must pay.
they paying. So Cecilia's debt was like 180 something. But
No,
now,
it was much more.
But now it was 180 something. But now it's sitting on 200 and
Yes.
something because of interest.
Because she hasn't been able to.
Because
make
she's not
payments.
able to pay it. They need to raise 600,000 pounds to pay off the three of them's loans that they made
Collectively.
for him. They started a GoFundMe page and it's only on 40.
Wow, our
1,000.
people. But he's
So-
famous.
But he's famous. I
At the
want to
end of the
know.
day, he's the culprit. Like,
He's the culprit.
I wish I
Something
could
wrong
just
with
have
society.
a conversation with this guy
The other
just to
thing
understand.
also is, I feel like they
nothing
gave,
wrong.
when Cecilia first went and said, I think I'm being swindled, and she gave the picture, the police was, yeah, we know him.
Oh yes.
He's been in jail for it before. The police knows this is what he does. Unfortunately, it's under their names. But is it okay for the banks to still be taking money from these women with the fact that they know this man has been doing this for 8 years?
One thing I know about banks is they don't give
They just
a
want
damn about your situation or your circumstances. They just want their money and that's all they care about.
Remember, say a random person comes to you and asks for money and makes a loan, or they let's say they loan something of a laptop, whatever. You expect it from that person. So these women didn't go and say, "Look, this is the circumstances." They said, "I need a loan for myself." So they took that on and they signed surety for that loan. So the agreement isn't between the bank and that man. Whatever that man did with the money, even yourself, if the bank gives you money, whatever you do with that money is your story. They just expect the money back from you. I mean, even if we go for a loan, you have to sign collateral. So, and they come take it. So, in terms of that, I understand the bank's approach because what are they going to do with those losses? Remember, the bank is just using someone else's money to
Pay. Yeah.
fund you. So, yeah.
For
So-
someone who's single, this is actually a good lesson for me because it goes to show, like, it actually makes me realize how superficial we are when we're choosing partners now, because I guess of social media, Instagram and stuff. Because look, this guy's good looking. Remember Prison Bay? We were talking about.
Yeah.
Oh,
This
yes.
guy, his mugshot started trending.
Yeah.
He was a freaking felon, and he became famous because he's good looking.
And now he's a model.
And now as a
And
model.
now he's a model.
But
So
that's
this-
also
this
one
goes
thing.
to show how superficial and artificial we are.
But-
and I
but-
think
but-
social media has
but
made it that
th-
way.
there's two sides to the scale, and I'm just, being throwing a span in the works. I mean, don't people change? I'm just saying, like, don't people get redeemed? I'm just, now.
You do, but
Must they live in
where's
the shame
our
forever?
morals in terms of when something is okay? Because if that had been a normal guy and not
Yes.
that good looking,
Christian
I-
Grey.
but
it
guys,
wouldn't.
Grey.
Because we are superficial in terms, because our thoughts goes on looks and what you have.
that is true. However, did you guys go see the pics of this man's before? So when they take you back to where he grew up and where he's loved and his address in it, like, I was
I
like,
did
this
see
cannot be
those.
the same man. This is like a entire, and no one would have given this man the attention. Even the pictures afterwards, because remember you were saying that, did this man save up money or make some, there at the end, it's clear this man wasn't wise. Like, he didn't think his business plan through. How am I gonna, have some capital retention here? He literally just from one scam to the next, one job to the next. That's how he literally lived. Because
I don't think so, because he's living a proper life now. His Instagram is popping and now he actually owns those cars.
remember, he had business partners also. So if he had saved, why was he in some hostel looking like he just crawled out of a...
I think that was part of
The con.
The con, though.
That
I
could
don't
be
think that
true.
was legit,
That could be
because
true.
look, right after his 5 months, he was back at it. They picked him up with a Rolls Royce. Do you get what I'm trying to say? How were you living for now in a hostel and the same day you fly to Greece? It doesn't add up that he had all of that. So there was still somebody backing him. It doesn't make sense that he was saying, and all the pictures, I mean, like, come on, if I'm struggling, I'm going to stand by the wall now. Take a picture, yeah, it says hostel. Because that's the kind of pictures he was sending. He was sending, I'm showing where I am now, hostel picture.
But remember, his bodyguard and they were all in cahoots there. Because his bodyguard and the other, they just...
Still his bodyguard.
They were living the life and they never got charged for anything. They just, they just living. Not that he got charged for much. He was just charged for the name, But I like the last girl though.
Yeah, so the last girlfriend, for those that don't know, she literally tried to swindle him back. She stole all his clothing because he only wears name brands.
And she worked in the
But this
industry.
is the part I don't understand. That's a bit questionable for me. Because every time he gave his jewelry to Brigitte and she tried to pawn it, it was always fake stuff.
Yeah.
But when she sold this stuff, it was real stuff. Did he have like a fake section and a...
I think he wouldn't have given Brigitte something real. However, she worked in that industry, and
So
even she knew what it. And remember, there are some good fakes out there as well. So even if it was fake, I'm sure she could have gotten it sold at a good price.
Yeah, she's still selling it.
She's still selling it and she's making her money back. I can respect her hustle though. I'm not even going to throw some shade there because she worked hard, and this guy, and they were she was his longest gone. So how much money didn't he swindle out of her? I'm just asking for a friend.
Asking for a friend. Okay, so closing remarks, Cleo. What do you have to say about the whole Tinder Swindler? About Shimon.
I think the world needed this documentary. I think it shed light on what people possibly go through being single and trying to find that person. Because like I was saying at the beginning, I was so oblivious to the fact that these kinds of things happen to people.
Yeah.
So maybe that will make people more aware when they're meeting people online. Things to look out for.
But also give ideas.
True, that's the other thing. And now made him famous.
Thanks.
I'm just saying, guys, respect yourself. The money is not always... I know that they say there's no ugly billionaire, but look past these things. There's more to life than that. There's actual experiences. And think logically, guys. Think logically. Ek gaan nie geld uithaal for something that is only a month. Build a relationship. I'm not saying don't share, don't help each other out, because now that's also,
Now you're
leading
scared.
to. Now you're scared to help out a friend. If you have the 1,000 rand to help a friend out, do it, and do it so willingly. But don't put yourself at risk when helping out somebody else. But think rationally, guys.
I would also say, with the single people that is dating, first of all, do proper research. Don't just look at the first diamond thingy. Because, when the journalists started doing proper research, they found that he was in jail before. So, if you like me, I can Google the hell out of somebody.
This is the investigator of note of the family.
No, I put timelines together.
Now we know where to go.
I can do the whole thing for you. But I would say do proper investigation. It's ugly to say investigate your partner.
Let's be diplomatic and say research.
Yeah, do proper research if you do meet somebody.
But if you find something, do you approach them and say, hey, I Googled you?
No.
This.
I don't. I just want to know
You don't
like,
disclose.
where I stand or those kind of things. So just
You don't disclose your
You don't
creepy side.
wow, it's out there now. But I would really say do proper research if you do meet somebody. Check, is there any friends in common? Is there
Yeah.
because okay, what was said was the fact that she met Simon's baby mama, and she was one of the women who was part of the trial that put him in jail for the first time.
Yeah, that was weird.
And then she was the one that went up to her. He's like a good guy. He's a this, he's a that.
Such a
And
good
she
dad.
went into the con. Obviously, was paying for her child and stuff like that.
The whole setup was just
But
creepy.
Just go and research somebody. Ask, have you heard of? There's that one meme that says, that posts a picture and says, "This is my boyfriend. Is he anybody's too?" So
Anyone wanna
just to
claim him?
know.
It's a hard
Is
knock
it?
life if you have to put it out like that.
But yeah, so I would say, yeah, research. Joan says, know who you are and value, and you will be able to discern con men. Yeah.
Know who you
So-
are and your value, yeah.
Know who you are and your value. Sorry, because I heard it didn't make sense. But know who you are, guys. Know your value and discern, guys. Discern. Just research. Someone must know the person some way along the
A friend
line.
of a friend.
A friend of a
I
friend.
mean, I was in a complete different country and a friend of a friend knew the entire
A
family.
friend of a friend. So, saying goodbye, Clayton, I don't know if you can see this. I thought it would be funny to play this.
That's what I was laughing at earlier.
This is Tinder Swindler South Africa. I'm trying to put it as loud as possible, and then we say goodbye. On the mic here, like this. And then,
Sanka, my enemies are after me. If you love me, please go to the bank, send money to me now.
Okay, sorry, Simon. Please send airtime. I can't listen to this voice note.
Okay, no problem, I send you airtime.
Simon, my love, thank you so much. Okay, send me an e-wallet so I can catch a taxi to get to the bank.
Okay, baby, I send you more. Please help me now. Mama, it has been 5 days. Where is the money?
Yeah, Simon. I can't go to the bank without a win. Send 5,000.
No matter Sanka, for every action there is an equal action. You will pay for this.
Simon, I'm here now, but the system is offline.
so I thought that was super funny. Lorraine sent that to me this morning, knowing our topic. But
Hilarious.
so that is a Tinder swindler in South Africa. Ask for money for airtime to listen to the voice note. Buy me data.
Return on investment.
Send me a weave so I can actually leave the house. Then send me petrol money. And now I am at the bank systems is offline. That was a good one. Thank you so much for everybody that joined. Last comments. Great show, ladies. I just think we just need to know our worth and be awake. Awesome show from Tracy. Thank you so much, guys. Hope to see you next week. Thank you so much, Cleo, for joining
Thank you
us.
for
You were
having me. It was
amazing
so much fun.
guest
Awesome.
today. Thank you, and thank you for this. This was so good.
It was really good. Guys, I finished mine this week, so testament.
Thank you so much. Love you lots. Bye.
Bye.